Hello everybody, this is Nihilael and welcome to my review of World of Warcraft Legion. Since the expansion is brand new and I haven't had time to get through the campaign, consider this more of a first impressions, covering major features, initial thoughts, and the perspective of a returning player who's looking to see if Legion can hold up to the hype. There are two versions of the game available for purchase through Blizzard. A basic copy of the expansion, which includes a level 100 character boost for $49.99, and a digital deluxe edition, which also includes the Illidari Fellstalker mount, Nibbles, a Fellstalker pet, and a few cosmetic items in StarCraft 2, Diablo 3, and Heroes of the Storm. This version will cost you $69.99. So far I've been enjoying the Fellstalker mount. I think it looks pretty good, but unless you also play the other Blizzard titles, you probably should stick to the standard version. Now, the basis of Legion is that Gul'dan has opened the Tomb of Sargeras, flooding Azeroth with demons. This takes players to the Broken Isles, an unexplored portion of Azeroth and hub of the demonic invasion. Returning players may recognize Dalaran as the game's central hub. Very early on in the quest, Dalaran is relocated to the Broken Isles, but it remains largely the same as you might remember. While this could be viewed as a reuse of old assets, it feels good to be back in a major city and seeing large groups of players running around. The game also sees the return of the garrison system, although it's seen a good deal of revamping. In addition to Dalaran, players will be spending a great deal of time in their class hub. This is a stronghold unique to each class. While the stronghold remains a separate zone from the city itself, it's public and you'll see other members of your class running around. Here you'll find a number of features, including the recruitment of troops, missions for your forces, upgrades to your stronghold, a provisioner, and even a forge for your artifact weapon, which is one of the other major aspects of Legion, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's take a look at the mission system. As you can see, there are a number of missions, each with varying rewards. These are often things like player experience or artifact experience, and each one requires a varying amount of time as well. Selecting one of these missions will allow you to assign up to a certain number of troops or champions, in this case 3. Each unit assigned will increase the chance of success. You'll have a number of followers available to you, each with different strengths and weaknesses. This will allow you to assign the right troop to the right task to always come out on top. One of the biggest things added in Legion is the addition of the new hero class, Demon Hunter. Starting at level 98 and quickly leveling to 100, Demon Hunter is a high mobility class with 2 available specs. There's Havoc, which turns the Demon Hunter into a damage dealer, and Vengeance, which lets the Demon Hunter be a tank. While Demon Hunter certainly feels unique, it uses a resource system very similar to Warrior. You generate a resource on strike and expend it to invoke more powerful abilities. The resource also begins to decay outside of combat. That being said, combat feels more engaging as a Demon Hunter than what I've grown accustomed to in other MMOs. It was a lot of fun jumping in and out of combat and dashing around, slicing enemies with my glaives. There's also this interesting glyph system, which lets a Demon Hunter place sigils on the ground. These activate for a variety of different effects after a short delay. And let's not forget Metamorphosis. One of their cooldowns allows the Demon Hunter to temporarily assume a demonic form. One of the more interesting aspects here is that not only the benefits, but the appearance of the form changes depending on whether or not you're expecting Havoc or Vengeance. Also, Predator Vision. They get Predator Vision. There are plenty of class changes in Legion, but one thing that is going to affect everyone is the addition of artifact weapons. Right at the beginning of the quest line, you'll get to choose a legendary weapon which corresponds to your spec. Some of these are big ticket items that players will be familiar with, like the Doomhammer or Ashbringer. Others appear to be either new or from some other Warcraft media that I myself am not familiar with. In addition to experience, you'll earn relic power on your adventures. This power allows your artifact to level up with you. Every so often, you'll earn a talent for your weapon. By accessing the forge in your class hub, you'll be able to see the upgrade path for your artifact. It's very reminiscent of the old school talent trees. It lets you unlock various upgrades by going down different paths and putting points into various areas. There's also slots on your weapon, which allow you to fit them with interchangeable bonuses. And none of us wants to look at the same weapon for an entire expansion, so there's also an appearance section. This lets you customize your artifact's color and model. You'll unlock different looks for your weapon from various quests and achievements, and if you like a certain one, all you have to do is hover over it, and the game will tell you how to get it. Honestly, when I first heard about this system prior to launch, I didn't think I was going to like it. One of my favorite aspects of doing dungeons and raids was looking for a new weapon to swing around. But in practice, I'm loving it. It's fun to have a weapon that levels up with you, and I find myself growing attached to my artifact. Another big change is to the transmog system. Previously, if you wanted to change what your gear looked like, you'd have to fill your bank with old equipment. Those days are over. The new system is very similar to the one found in Diablo 3. Once you obtain an item, its appearance is logged in your collection, and even if you get rid of it, you'll be able to go to the transmog merchant and select that appearance. This applies to everything: weapons, armor, even shirts and tabards. It also seems to be account-wide. I noticed every cloak I had ever found was available on my brand new Demon Hunter. While you could argue that this change is purely cosmetic, it's pretty big, and I think it's for the better. It's a lot easier to make my gear look the way that I want it to. Now we've talked about some of the features, but you may be asking, what about the expansion itself? Right off the bat, you'll notice that it's narrative driven. They've been going in this direction for a while and have gone further down the rabbit hole with Legion. What I've seen of the campaign is very similar to a single-player RPG experience. Each zone has its own story, and they're all part of an interconnected plot. The writing isn't half bad either. I've felt relatively engaged in the story and am fairly interested in what's going on. The zones themselves in Broken Isles are beautiful. Not only is each one unique, but they contain tons of varied terrain and enemies. While you can quest through them at a brisk pace, it feels like each zone has a lot of content. And make no mistake, the pace is pretty brisk. I know a number of people who have reached 110, and none of them have hit a bottleneck with experience. It seems like Blizzard really hit the mark with progression on this one. You never feel like you're starved for experience just waiting to unlock that next big hub, and you also move through each zone quickly enough so that it doesn't become boring. Of course, this may become an issue when leveling up all of your characters, but there's only so much that can be done to curb that. There also seems to be a good deal of focus on exploration. I've spent a good deal of time just looking around the zones, and it feels like that's intended. There are usually a couple of different paths to and from each objective, and it's fun to try to find each one, exploring every little detail of each area. I think that all of this is part of a larger design scheme. We're at a point where a lot of games are opting for procedurally generated content, so it's refreshing to see this amount of detail. It really feels like Blizzard spent a lot of time getting every little detail in each zone just right. And of course we can't forget the soundtrack. The music in Blizzard games has always impressed, and Legion is no different. It's just one more aspect of an overall pleasing aesthetic that they've managed to achieve. So the bottom line here is whether or not the game is fun, and I gotta say that thus far I've loved every second of Legion. Whether you're a returning player or just considering WoW for the first time, I definitely recommend picking it up. I'd get the base version because $20 for a Fellstalker is pretty pricey, but definitely get the game. I'm glad that I did, and I can't wait to see the rest of it. So again, this was just initial impressions. I'll probably either update this or make another video once I've completed the campaign and seen all the dungeons, maybe a raid or two, and really had a chance to see the full Legion experience. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. The channel is brand new, and I've got a lot of content headed your way soon. If you did like it, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Maybe hit a subscribe if you want to see some more. There will also be links to my Twitch and Twitter in the description below, and I hope to see you guys out in Azeroth. Take it easy, everybody.